Good morning, good day to you as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. As usual, we welcome you back. Today, in short terms of English language, we got you with short and curlies, which means we are controlling a lot of teaching in the background. We are bombarding you literally with energies in a cosmic ray level in all directions and dimensions, with a very big difference, which the beauty of the man comes when cosmic rays at the level of themselves as they interact become that 80%, then they need that 20%. We are feeding with that 20% plus the 80% in a very specific way, monitoring that how your energy levels, physicality is controlled, added. In the way we are compressing into the soul of physicality by integrating the both dimensions of the soul of the man, the central energy, and the physicality. For the first time, we are running a live dimensions of the progress of all collective central energy of yours and how you're behaving. I'm watching it on another screen, live, and it's amazing how we're controlling what we call the soul of physicality. And with it, we are tempting you with a dimension of physicality. What does it mean? We are literally adding to your dimension of physicality gold, which means you have to decide which way you want to be. Choose between the greed of the man or choose between the energy of the creator. At this moment of time, it's very interesting how this is taking shape and how you collectively deciding to stick to gold. Majority of you are connected to the dimension of physicality more than the energy. And the soul of physicality has two direct vertical lines on each other. Those who want to go towards the energy leave the physicality, and those who are stuck with the dimension of physicality. It is extremely rare to see this, and at the same time, it's extremely interesting to see how you knowledge seekers actually live, actually are, and this is what will give us a dimension in how to progress with what we call the transmutation, in knowing what we have to give for the man to let the physicality go, for man to allow this dimension of physicality change position. I share with you as usual, we don't do this so live, sometimes do. This is you lot, and you'll be amazed when you start it. As you can see, gold sits precious to man on the left-hand side, and not much activity on the right-hand top side at dots, where the vertical sign is taking shape by the horizontal, which is the soul of physicality of the man, strong, greed, attachment to physicality. And this is very interesting for us, extremely interesting for us, to see how knowledge seekers are no different than what we call the rest of humanity. We are all part of the same. Don't forget, we are energizing, we're giving everything we have in our structure of the knowledge to the soul of the man, and man has chosen the physicality of it. And I'll try to show you in the next few minutes more and more of how you knowledge seekers actually go about doing things. How you knowledge seekers sit with, play with, and go back with understanding this totality of the knowledge encryption of the reality of the phase of what we call dimension of the man. And we'll see how you move, you change, because this is what, in a way, sets dimensions for us in the future. When we get man to the moon, when we get man into space, with the greed, which is the speciality of the man, it's the only animal, more or less, which lives by his ethos of greed, wealth, knowledge, and everything else. And how you, as knowledge seekers, take the dimension of the wealth in the space and you create that dimension of what we call greed. Would you go back to the dimension of humanity? Would you go back in killing? Would you go back in what we call understanding of how man sits, how man will go back to killing in the space? How much can we hold you in the dimension of energy of the soul and soul of physicality, that the physicality does not do what it did on this planet? One rotten apple can literally destroy the whole cart. And one man killing in the space can start a mayhem of showing the others what can be done. Man technological development at this moment of time, by landing on the moon or trying to go to the Mars, is nothing. You have not come across the other side. Universe is not the exclusivity of humanity. Universe is not exclusivity of man to do what he likes. And once man become man of space, the time will take. When would the first man fall? Commit the heinous crime of killing, destroying, that the rest of the humanity will be destroyed by it and be brought into the line that man will not be able ever to, in a way, depart this planet. This moment of time, governments will sanctions, come and close borders. But when the universal community puts a ban on every human to leave this planet, there'll be no point of return. The whole effort of teaching, enlighten, and trying to bring for you to understand the level of the soul of the man is for this heinous crime does not take place in the space. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. It's no good to be a Jewish man shouting the Torah and working opposite to it, what it says, thou shalt not kill, and kill as much as you can in every shape or form. We don't want Jews in space with the wrong Torah in their hand. What is written is to be abided by and followed by. Thou shalt not kill, but thou kills more than any other things in the name of the false prophet of Moses. When you have no religion, you can do everything and attach yourself to anything. And when that religion is ingrained in what we call the chosen ones, the chosen to destroy the humanity. My biggest wish that there is no Jew ever in space, that they'll commit in the name of the chosen ones to choose to be the wrong ones that bring the rest of humanity to annihilation. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not destroy. And does not matter what name, just because you carry with you the blood of Mitra. You're not chosen. You're chosen to be wrong. You're chosen to be a murderer. You're chosen to be a killer. And this cannot carry in the space. Simple and direct line of it is that you change the timeline for the others, and man has got no right to do so. Man is chosen to be perfect. Man is not to be the chosen one to kill. Anyone who puts the name of the chosen one is tagged and is understood that have not understood. Because we are all chosen by the Creator to be the perfect examples of the creation in Him, not the failures of Judaism and Moses. If mankind takes the path, if the mankind does not understand what we do, how we operate, and what is the purpose of the teaching to bring man to be the perfect, then we have to see what can be done. In the next 2 minutes, we'll add gold into the pattern of your souls. The systems are set. We have never played games with you this way. We always did things in the background, but this time we are all aware of what you're about to receive. Up to now, you receive the rays of cosmos, the energies which is hidden to elevate the soul of the man. And what we will see in the next graph is when we have brought, we have added greed, gold to the soul of the man. And I'll be wondered how the reaction will be. You saw your souls strangled in the soul of physicality with a touch of gold as I spoke. But that was just a thought. Now we add this as an energy into the dimension of your souls. How do you wonder you will react? You will see the graph. You will see how, as mankind, you are. I show you a graph of just prior to adding the gold. And then I show you the graph when the gold is added and we test the greed of the man. You have to be aware of this. And the reason we do this today is that you have to be aware what the others see, as they don't see you physically, but they see the energies of your souls and your behavior. And then you will understand to know yourself more. This is you lot just in past half an hour without adding the gold to your dimension of the soul. Not much difference than what we saw from 15, 20 minutes before. You will start moving more to the dimension of the soul, the energy, central energy, as we start telling you about what is going to happen. Just the motion of the understanding has moved you a lot up. Rick, can you promote the number 4 as a panelist, please?
It's done. Thank you. It's done.
Thank you very much. So now we want to see in a space we introduce to you the love of your life, gold, weakness of the man, greed of the man. And let's see how next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you as knowledge seekers, is how you react. Can we tempt you to kill? Can we tempt you to greed? That the only emotion which breathes and lives only within the man. A dog eats, and it gets to the point when it's full, it stops. Does not do what the man does. Man greed for power and greed for physicality, for possession, has been the weakest point and will be the breaking point in the structure of the life of the man in the space. We do not change anything. We just add to your physical side, which is giving you physically the emotion of possessing gold in your hand. We do not add in this section the dimension of the energies of gold to the soul and the soul of physicality. So now what we see is how temptation will touch you. It does not matter if you say, I have no attachment. Technology, data does not lie. It is the reality. It is what sits amongst you. And this is how the test will come. In the next 2 weeks, we bring a new dimension, connection to universal cosmic rays in a different way, in a very direct way. And then we'll see how we start changing. Because the graphs you see, the data we have collected over years is still kept. We are watching how you developed over past years, past months, and past weeks. As you received, you went through dimensions and directions. Now, we have added gold, and in all dimensions, you're receiving universal energy. But gold is in your dimension of physicality. We have placed the essence of the gold as energy of the universe in 3-4 places around the system. That how will affect you? How you choose? Would you commit the final crime and destroy? And would you move into the dimension of physicality? And the picture is loud and clear. It speaks on its own. It's a scientific data. And no one can hide. In the next few minutes, you will see man, dimension of the man, but knowledge seekers as you are. And then I explain to you how it will be if we do it in a different way. In a way, without you knowing, your soul and the soul of physicality is making that decision. And it does not matter what you say. I don't like gold, I'm not greedy, I have no attachment to physicality. In the next few minutes, you will know yourself. And how much you have changed over the time. Because we have to show this, that you truly understand yourself. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. We got to understand how much you change, how much you as knowledge seekers change, and how much have you changed. We are monitoring you in the background. This is for us. This is not testing you. This is for us to understand how we have to load our systems when we put you through transmutation, that in that process, we satisfy all the need of the man, that the greed of the man does not travel with the man across the space. In transmutation, we can carry hundreds of thousands of people instantaneously. And we do not want to carry what I call the army of Hitler or Genghis Khan with us into another dimension and direction of the universe. As they arrive there, let's loot. Let's take what is not ours and we find an excuse in how it will be done, in how it will be developed, in how mankind will be kind to itself and what kind of man will be in this space. Can we trust man? Or do we need to change man that he can trust himself in a dimension of the space and time and in the evolution of the existence within the time of the man? To what extent can we work? What is interesting is that you have all chickened out. What is interesting is how your conscious has become your consciousness, and how you as knowledge seekers do not know what to do. And what is interesting is that you as knowledge seekers stand to see how you will gain from the whole process. Leave your microphones open, that you can communicate, you can work within the structure of the man's life, and how you lot do not want to be part of this exercise because you lot do not trust in yourself. You have all, majority of you have switched off. In a dimension of the soul, we operate, we see. We say you have chickened out because you do not know what is the outcome. What is the onset of trying to be correct with oneself, to move more in the dimension of the soul of the man? So, at this moment of time, we have given you as much code as you like, as an energy. We have left in your possession the totality of understanding the whole structure of what we call process of and progress of man. And interesting enough, we have to see how you as knowledge seekers move with this. We are still playing, tempting you with the dimension of physicality. And see what you have found about yourself, what you see about yourself. Do you remember the last graph? Now, this is a touch with gold with you lot.
Recording in progress.
Look. Compare. Where you were before and what decision you made now. You
Hello, Mr. Keshe, you're breaking up there, I think. We couldn't hear the last couple of sentences. Okay, bear with us a minute while Mr. Keshe reconnects.
can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Mr. Keshe.
You're moving. Can you hear it now?
That's better. Yes, no echo.
Yeah. Okay. So let me share with you something very interesting. I go in another headphone because it's easier to talk. 1 second. Okay, we have a system failure. Just 1 second.
Recording in
Bear with us as Mr. Keshe reconnects the audio. Oh, I think he's there now.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you clearly.
We have a problem with our systems. So what we've done in this process of today, and what we're trying to do, is to actually bring about of your understanding the whole process yourself and how you react, how you as knowledge seekers interact with the systems, with yourself, and how we can modify and justify our work in how, when we take you into space, you do not commit what I call the heinous crime. And as we see, once we introduced the gold and we explained, you moved from this position of physicality, most probably trying to be correct with yourself, to a position of more towards the soul of the man, detachment. But interesting enough, you have closed and shut down the whole system of the operation of yourself. What does this mean? It means you will literally shut down. All of you, 99% of you, totally shut down because you were not aware of your own conduct, of your own trust within and about yourself. In a way, you want to be, as we see in the dimension of the graph you see in front of you, to be good, to be detached. And if you decide you can be, you can bring that change. And you can exist within the dimension of the reality.
Recording in progress.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Yes. We have to get this.
Not hearing you now. See, one of your microphones is open, but there's no sound in it.
Okay, we have to work half cooked, and if we lose us, we come back into another dimension. Let me go to another system. It's a good thing that we have so many systems in our hand that we can switch over and see. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. It's not.
Don't hear you clearly right now.
Can you hear me now?
With echo and go ahead.
Recording in progress.
Can you hear me that I can speak?
Yes, no echo. Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. There's something wrong with one of our systems. Two are failing to connect the sound. So what we do in this session is to feed you with primarily energy of the gold, and watch how you behave, and watch how you change, and how you move towards it. Then we feed you with golden dimension of the energy of the gold dimension of the soul and the soul of physicality, and monitor you. And that will be interesting to us how you, in next days, weeks, behave towards gold, towards wealth, towards position, and, and how we can bring about a change in the society, because once you kill the greed, you kill the wars. Greed of power, greed of position, greed of gold or whatever has been the cornerstone of the war. Wanting to be called the king, wanting to be the president, wanting to be the whatever. And greed of the man has come through possession, and gold is the most possessive thing in the world for many. We operate, we monitor how this will affect you, how you affect yourself, how you change your life, how you decide to be in the dimension of nothing matter as long as we are all equal, that it brings peace. Position does not come with physical dimension. Position comes with holding, possessing another man's destiny, forcing your way onto another person. That's possession. Trying to enforce your thoughts on somebody else. That's possession. Sharing and deciding to be part of is different than forcing to be part of. My way or no way. That's possession. Because I want to decide. Man should be born free. Man should stay free. Man should die free. And if man lives by that ethos, he can conquer the universe and will be one of the many creatures of the Creator. You have no right to no life half time, to decide when that half time will be for the life. And today's session is start of that. For us to more or less complete the cycle of development of systems, that when man is on earth and he wants to do all the things he does here, once we let him loose through the system of transmutation, man has no half-lifetime. And man has no right to no other creature's half-lifetime. Kingship and leadership and ownership is the characteristic of humanity. And man going to space has to change. Don't forget, whole session today, till we finish, you're getting fed by universal field energies, what we call cosmic rays, in a 360-degree dimension, and we are tempting you with gold. And then I will show you the videos of it, the pictures of it in the next session. That when you become unaware, when the second part comes and the third part comes and we talk, you still subconsciously greed, live. And we want to know how you change. And then we share with you. And then it gives us a dimension of how we need to change you as knowledge seekers, and how much you need to change yourself as knowledge seekers to become members of universal community, when all creatures of God are equal. and not all men are equal. Men have never accepted equality, even from day one, from male to female, from man to man. Brotherhood of man has been brotherhood of killing, destruction, lies, and possession. And part of that comes through greed. We are satisfying that greed. And we would like to see how much that satisfies your need. And then we'll see how many of you are really ready to become part of the universal community as we progress in that direction and dimension. We fight it nation by nation. We show power man to man, culture to culture, and we are proud of it. We never looked at as one man, one planet, one race, one nation. Then this is the whole target, especially with the systems we are distributing amongst you, which are the universal systems. We spread the emotion, the energy fields of peace and equality and what we call peace in mankind, and changing what we call the inner layers of man amino acid to be satisfied and not to hunger, to be able to move to connect to universal energies and not just the body of the man. The units which are getting distributed connect and directly into universal energies, universal lines of communication. In a way, when you play the game through the systems, you're actually delivering to yourself the energies which brings you to be peaceful. The comprehension of the totality of oneness of the man between his soul, the soul of physicality, and physicality of the man. Enlightenment in the game of gods. Chess has been the game of the kings, and enlightenment has been the game of the creator. How would you play it? How much would you give to be enlightened with the knowledge of the creation? Today we have tempted you with gold. Subhanallah said, bless his name. We test the heat of the fire with gold. And we test the greed of the man with gold. Then we see how you do. For past now, you've been showered with fields of the universe, and in the past half an hour, you've been showered with the greed of the man, the field energy of the gold of the man. How do you think you're moving? And how many of you are hiding? I show you, scientifically, you have all switched off because too scared to face my own weakness. But the soul is working in the background with the soul of physicality, as you see. It's very simple. This is you before, and there is you after. What happened? You all disappeared from the dimension of physicality in the greed of the man and moved toward the soul. What is interesting for us to see holding on to the physicality of the man and the soul of the emotion of the man. Tightly holding and letting physicality go. You're playing with your emotions, you're playing with your physicality, you're playing with the soul of physicality. We watch it on the graph behind in the background, but not choosing the goal. You see, is empty, where before was there for man to see. The more we go in this dimension, the more physical we become. The more we go in that dimension, the more we become detached from physicality. And somewhere here, you see dimension of physicality. This is before I explain to you, and not just play in the background and see how you are, but directly informing you of you're going to get hit with the gold. And look, this is you. So man can change. There is still hope to change the idea. Even some of you are still dangling and dingling in this zone. Now, we need prophets. When a man can understand the work of the creation and what needs to do by himself. These are not made up, these are scientific data. And you've been familiar with it for past months and a couple of years. No knowledge has ever been shared so directly, as we have no fear of knowledge of creation, the Creator. Those who have a fear, who have nothing, patented. We have no pattern in the universe from the Creator, and He has created everything which exists. A man just think of something, he has to pattern it because he's so feeble. Let's see how you lot knowledge seekers play the game of gold. And how you knowledge seekers become so aware of greed of yourself. Never consider another man. Once you start comparing other men, you have gone back into the kingship and failure of the whole system. Look only at yourself and where you want to be and how you want to elevate and what is the ultimate goal for life. Hopefully by the end of the teaching, if we see right, we'll share some shocking pictures with you as the data comes up. We go for a break and come back, and then we'll try to answer if you have any question about your own greed and nobody else's.